Hello again. Welcome to Foundations of Character. My name is Scott Wilkinson, and this is my channel. Now, if you clicked on this video, you must want to know who I am and where all the information in my videos come from. Well, I'm glad that you're curious. As a parent, I would be too. So, let me tell you my story. I was raised in Mississippi in a Christian home. I had the best childhood ever. We had land, we had some cows, I may have had a horse or two along the way, and we had a couple of gardens. We had chickens at one time too. There was a lot to do. We had to take care of the livestock, work in the garden, cut firewood, all kinds of cool country boy kind of things to do. I fell in love with hunting and fishing, mainly fishing. I still love to fish today. One of the coolest parts of having the land was exploring it. I got to experience true freedom exploring all that land. I loved it. Now, we were a close family. I have an older brother and a younger sister, and I am the middle child. My mom worked at a Christian private school, and my dad was a high school teacher and a basketball coach. I tried lots of sports as a kid. I tried soccer, baseball, tennis. I would shoot basketball with my brother occasionally. I played trombone in the band and briefly took piano lessons. I love music. Now, I started getting interested in martial arts when I was about 11 years old. The first thing I fell in love with was ninjas. I started making my own weapons, which scared the bejesus out of my mom, so she made a deal with me. The deal was if I gave up my obsession with ninjas, she would enroll me in a martial arts school. And I was thinking, deal. So she put me in Taekwondo. Before I ever walked into a martial arts school, I knew all of the kicks, all of the punches, all the blocks. I even knew a black belt pattern. I was an absolute sponge when it came to anything combat related. I earned my black belt when I was 15 and started teaching immediately, 3 times a week. I quit anything that interfered with my martial arts training. I was serious about it, obsessive about it. 4 years later, at 19 years old, I opened my first martial arts school. 19 was a massive year. When I was 19. At 19, I got married, opened up a martial arts school, and had my first child all in the same year. When I was 21, a guy entered the martial arts industry that was a business guy. And he's the guy that actually made martial arts an industry capable of supporting a family and even generating wealth. Now, I wanted to train badasses, which are people that can fight. This business guy said martial arts business wasn't about training badasses. He claimed that martial arts was about life skills and building character traits in students. And it was for everybody. So I started studying how that could even be possible. I looked up all the words associated with martial arts. Words like courtesy, respect, integrity, self-control, perseverance, courage, confidence, leadership, discipline. There are a lot of words and character concepts associated with martial arts. Now, I figured if I'm going to do martial arts as a profession, I needed to be on an expert level at why these words were associated with martial arts, where they fit into an actual class and how it all worked. I not only looked up the words, I asked parents at my school, I asked instructors, I asked any adults what they thought the words meant, and I found out that very few people had a working knowledge about what the words actually meant. If they didn't understand what the concept behind the words, then they certainly couldn't be effective at teaching them to their kids or to anyone else. So I changed my definition of badass from being a great fighter that could take care of themselves to being a good person with a high likelihood of being successful at whatever they chose, and they can fight. So I started experimenting and working on a curriculum that was filled with character building concepts. I worked on a curriculum where I used badass martial arts training as a tool to teach and reinforce character building. Now, somewhere around in there, I had my second child. So that's 2 kids, and both of them were boys. I went to a lot of tournaments, and my students did very well at those tournaments. And at one of those tournaments, I was approached by a school owner that was one of the most successful school owners in America at the time. And he offered me a job teaching at his school in Texas. So, packed up the family and we moved to Texas. At the time, I actually had 2 schools in Mississippi, but I had to give those up so that I could move to Texas and kind of do an internship at the most successful school in America, one of them. I moved to Texas in July of 1998 while we were expecting our 3rd child. That was my first little baby girl. Now I had 2 boys and a baby girl. I think I was somewhere around 27 at the time. The super successful business guy owner wanted me to write a curriculum for his TOTS program. Now I'd only had a little experience with TOTS in Mississippi, and TOTS is the 3 to 6-year-old age group. I wrote the curriculum and I based it on the life skills that I'd been studying for the previous 8 to 10 years. The TOTS program at that school grew to over 50 kids, and we had about 25 kids on a waiting list. And I fell in love with working with this age group. I found out that even 3-year-olds can learn about courtesy, honesty, self-control, responsibility, and discipline. They can understand it. The super successful owner dude eventually sold the school, and when the new owner came in, I was fired, which freed me up to design a new business that works exclusively with 3 to 6-year-olds. Now, eventually, that program got so big that I had to open a full-time martial arts school. So I wrote a curriculum for my school that was based on all the words, all of the life skills ever associated with martial arts, and it's a lot of words. The life skills are character building concepts that almost all parents want for their children to have. Now, altogether, I have studied life skills, how to teach them, and how to instill the life skills in children for 32 of the 34 years I have been in business. Now, my first 3 videos, which include the 5 steps to making a plan, the 4 epochs of child development, and God culture versus human culture, are based on my observation, the polling of other parents over the course of my career, my observation of humans, I'm a people watcher, and my study of the Bible, and my experience working with children, and my experience as a father of 2 boys and a girl. Now, the first 3 videos are called pre-frame videos. The idea of the pre-frame videos is to prepare you for the library of life skills videos that I plan on making. So that's where the information in my videos originated. After retiring from owning a school and teaching martial arts at night, and the fact that I'm about to be a granddad, I thought that maybe I can share what I learned over the course of my career to maybe give parents some ideas about how to raise great kids, and maybe even share the information with my kids as they become parents. I'm also a believer and follower of Christ. I have been my entire life. I am definitely not perfect, and I've made some horrible choices in my life. But I am not afraid of the struggle, and I am not afraid to take steps and try things. I always thought that if I take no steps, God can't really guide my steps. So I am new to making the videos. Be patient with me. I'll get better at it over time, and I'm still experimenting with editing and learning the software. So right now there is 0 editing. So leave me some comments and let me know your thoughts and opinions. And if you have any ideas for future videos, I can make those too if it has to do with raising great kids or character building traits or protecting your kids. Anyway, my name is Scott Wilkinson. That's where all the information comes from, and this is Foundations of Character.